Good morning, everyone. Hope you are doing well. I'll do a slightly longer video today because it's Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. I hope you're well and I hope your family and your friends are all doing okay at this difficult time. So let's have a look at live trades. So if you saw any of the Facebook stories or Instagram stories yesterday, I put up that we'd had a trade that you can see in here. So you can see we've got a trade on US dollar, Swiss franc. You can see that in here. Ignore those two, they're not trades, they're just orders. So that buy in there. So we closed out the IR240 trade. For those of you that know what that is, we closed out that trade yesterday, but I am still running a position that you can see here. So I'm still running a position because I added into this trade. There was the entry. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with US dollar Swiss franc. Yes, it is the flight to safety currency, but all I've done is take this with the view of trying to run it a little bit further. Now, the red line here is my stop. So the stop is in here, and that is the guaranteed profit on the trade. But the plan with this, and I'll show you the chart in a second, the plan in terms of trailing my stop is really simple. If we take this high out and we go higher, then what I'll do is I'll move the stop underneath this low. The same thing happens again. We go higher, pull back, take the high out, then I will simply move my stop up again. But I do have an overall target here. I'll just show you this. So we'll come away from the S&P for a second. So my overall target on this trade is all the way, you'll see it all the way up here. All right. So it may well be that we get into this zone. If we do go higher, we may get to here, may get to here. So if I just go down to the daily, you'll see that. So there's that initial point in there. So if we get up to there, that may be that it then pushes down and takes me out. But I am trying to run this a little bit further. Now, at the moment you're seeing we're pushing back a bit. If you look at the weekly chart, we've got both the 21 moving average and we've tested the 50 moving average. So we were a long way away from that 50 moving average. We've come up and tested it. At the moment we are reacting to it. So that might be the end of the move. We may start to come back down and I get stopped out for about 460 quid profit on that. The nice thing about that is it's added in, it's more than 50% added into the profitability of the previous trade. So the previous trade was about £800 profit. This one, if it stops me out, will be 450. So it's a nice little add-on, and all I've done is something that I talk about with you guys who are listening to this on the Telegram app. That's the adding in. So if you want a little bit more detail on that, those of you watch last night's recording because I go into detail about that at the start of the recording. So let's go and have a look at the S&P because I'm also long on the S&P. Now this is really important, okay? I'm long off an IR240 and I'm again looking to do an add to this. Now, those of you that are watching this that aren't part of our pro group, it's really important to understand something here. That just because I've taken a long position, okay, just because I've taken a long position here, all right, so I'm slightly long. It's actually a setup that we've got, and you'll see this down on my 4-hour chart. You can see I've got a setup here, and what I'll do is I'll just pop the, bear with me, slightly higher, just there. So the target on this trade is actually a relatively low target in relation to the moves you've seen. I'm looking for a target of about 2614 in there. So in terms of the move relative to where we've come, it's not even 30% of the move. So if I now go back to the weekly chart, in relative terms, I'm looking for price to do about that much. So the reason I've taken the setup, someone said, well, why are you going long at the moment with all of the news that's out there and the potential for the market to go further? Well, ultimately, I don't know which way the market's going to go. From an analysis perspective, if we take those lows out and we go lower, if we take those lows out, I would expect the market to go lower. If the market does come down and take those lows out, I will be stopped out of that trade and I'll be wrong on it. But the important thing to understand is if I'm wrong on this, I'll lose half of 1%. On all of the trades that I'm trading at the moment, I'm banking a minimum of 1%, if not more. Okay, so I've either got held, if you think about that US dollar Swiss franc trade, I'm a guaranteed 1,200 quid, which is more, which is for sake of argument, more, it's actually 1.2%. So if I'm wrong on this, I'll lose half a percent. So all I've done with this trade is have a bigger stop, but I've lowered my stake, so my percentage risk, half of 1%, still remains the same. So there is no part of what I'm doing that is over leveraging. So many of the traders at the moment are getting killed because they're not adjusting their stakes, or they are moving and widening their stops to try and allow for movement, that the greater or increase in the volatility that we've seen. But as a result, their percentage risk is creeping up and they're losing money. So to be clear, I am not bullish on this market. I'm actually quite neutral. We're down at the 2016 support. If we bounce from here, it might be that we got a 50% bounce and then rolled over. We might get a tiny little bounce and roll over, or that might be it. And despite what's going on, the markets rally. We get some good news going into May, or into April, I should say, and into May, and the markets rally and we push on. I don't know. But what we have is we have a setup. And that's the key thing. If I have a setup, then I'm going to trade it. Now, if I just go back out to the monthly like I've been doing all week and just show you where we are, if we do take those lows out, we do have a couple of lows in here, but the next level of support is down here. We've got a set of resistance highs and a small low in there, but really the next level of support is all the way down here. So if we do take those lows out, I would be looking for these lows to be tested. But it might be that good news comes out with regards to the situation that we're in, and we might be somewhere in the middle of nowhere and the market rallies. So it's important to understand I've taken a long trade because there is a logical level and our criteria have been met, and I'm managing my risk accordingly with a 0.5% trade and having that bigger stop on it. So everything is managed carefully and effectively as I'm doing this. Good. So that's the S&P. It's weird this morning. I got used to looking in the morning and just seeing pretty much red across the board. We've got, as you can see here, look, positive moves up in most of the indices, and on oil, and you can see gold and silver. So there is a bit of a positive move this morning. Now, it's not guaranteed. It may be that we reverse that as we go through. So a quick comparison. Let's go and have a little look at the DAX and see where the DAX is currently. So DAX, again, a bit of a positive move, again, reacting to this area of support. So it's had that huge move down, but reacting to that area of support. We may have a small long position on the DAX as well going into later on today. I'll be going through that with you guys in the other video very shortly. There's the French index. FTSE sitting fairly neutral. So they're all sitting at this support at the moment. Oil, interestingly, oil has had, if I can just find it, there it is. So oil had a bit of a move, a bit of a rally. You'll need to see this on the weekly chart. You can see came off wherever these lows were. It's had a little bit of a move up. It's made up 50% of the week's downward move just there. And if I show you the daily, you'll see it here. So positive move there, but again, these could just be little relief rallies, and then price decides to roll back over. We'll only know as time goes on. Gold is up here. Gold got it nicely into its weekly 50 and has reacted to weekly 50 in the lows just here. So gold's had a little bit of a reaction there. I was looking at gold and thinking we may see a further move down into these lows, which we might, but we've reacted at a logical point, the weekly 50. So we'll see what happens there. Quick look at euro. Just going to have a quick look at euro. Euro showing a slight bit of upside at the moment, but you can see two big candles. Now, I was talking about this yesterday, and this idea that if we took these lows out, I would be looking down towards this next level of support. If I go up to the monthly, you'll see this here. And I'll put the monthly chart on. So you can see we've got that next level of support. So we took the lows out. these are the next port of call. So yeah, I'll say, am I bearish on euro? Yeah, slightly. We're seeing a little bit of a rally so far this morning, but if I go down to the weekly chart, again, those lows being taken out still potentially means these lows here could be hit. Now, pound US dollar. We have a potential trade here as well. So we'll just have a look and see what that is doing. So pound US dollar, again, reacting to this support. So all these markets at the moment are reacting. So the main indices, currencies, gold's coming off a moving average, but these main indices and the currency pairs, apart from euro that's gone a little bit lower, a lot of them are reacting to the support level. You can see it there. Now let's jump down to the daily on here and see what's happening. So you can see at the moment, positive move up, no positive daily close as yet. You can see we had, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 downward days. That's a lot of downward days in one go. So today could be positive. We will have a potential trade on the 4-hour if this continues, and I will run through that with you guys in the IR240 group. So those of you listening via Facebook, I hope this has been useful. I hope it's been useful to see the trade that I'm in and the relationship between the indices. I think the big note, guys, is at the moment the support levels are holding up, but that could change. So do keep an eye on that. If you've got any questions about what's going on, what we're doing, how we're approaching this, remember, we're not trying to poach short trades. We're not trying to capitalize from what is going on. We are simply carrying on with our same trading process that we have done for the last 6 years. It's worked every single year, this swing trading process. So all we're doing is carrying that on and adjusting the size of our stops to factor in the volatility. So if you've got any questions about that, or you've got any questions or any help that you want with your trades or anything, please post some of those questions in the Facebook group that you're watching this, or on our main Facebook page, or send us an email at support@traderssupportclub.com, and we will do our very best to help you. Great. Have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday with another slightly longer video. And for those of you that are watching this in Telegram, I will be doing the IR240 videos very shortly. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, and I'll catch up with you soon.